Hello, Kentish Steam. This is the disembodied voice of the signal guy. Excuse me when I close the door. So I've got this picture of your layout, and just quickly to help make sure we're on the same page, I'm just going to give your platform some names which might not match yours. So if I just call this platform 1, call this platform 2, call this 3, platform 4, and I'm going to call that the loop. And if I bring in your signal gantry, I'm going to give that some numbers as well. So I'm going to call that signal 1. You can see that. That's signal 1. Signal 2. This little fella 3. Signal 4. And signal 5. Now, what you also need, or what is also helpful just to understand your signaling and how you're going to lay it out, is to give your destination's name. So normally from signal to signal signaling, your destination would be the name of another signal, but since I don't have the full layout here, I'm just going to give these letter names. So this is A, which I think is your utility branch. We call the shed destination B, and I don't know if this is the up or the down, so I'm going to call it C, and into the two lines into the tunnel are C and D. So the next thing I would do as a signaling engineer is probably, I'm just drawing on something here. Drawing on a bit of the wife's desk. So I would take those signal numbers, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, put them in a table. Signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, signal 4, signal 5, and to help me sort out exactly what I was going to do with them, I would put this table into, it's really like a root table. So for me, signal 1 would probably take you from line platform 3 to destination C. So I put where it starts, platform 3, and the destination, which is C. And on that same gantry, signal 2, let me just skip signal 2 for a minute, because you've got this crossover here through the middle between destination C and D. My interpretation of that would be where you've got 3 would be from platform 3 to destination D through the crossover, because it's to the right. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this through the camera. It's a bit tricky to film, but this seems to be the easiest way to film it. I hope this makes sense. So because this goes straight ahead from platform 3 to destination C, 1 to the right is D. So for me, signal 3 would be through that crossover to destination D. So that would mean that signal 2, because it's below, directly below signal number 1, signal number 2 to me suggests that it would be along the same line, so it's a straight route. So it would also have to be along C. So signal 2 would be from platform 3, and it's a shunt because it's lower down the post and it's a smaller arm. It's a shunt to C. Shunt to C. So up here, and because it's a shunt, because there's no other destinations, not like a little siding off here or whatever, that would kind of suggest to me that signal 2 is for the train to come out of the station, out of platform 3, out of this line, platform 3 line, that I'm calling platform 3, and to come back in, probably to turn back because there's no other destination. So if it's a shunt, otherwise signals 1 and 2 on that straight post are kind of doing the same thing. Now, obviously, we've got, bring this back down, from platform 3, you've also got destination B, which for me on that gantry doesn't quite have a signal. So I notice there is a little hole in the gantry here. I would expect a signal which takes you from platform 3 through to B would be to the left. It would be down here and to the left where this little hole is from signal 1. So if signal 2 was to be to destination B, I would expect it to be down and to the left because you're telling the driver that they're going to the left. Now, that is what I would kind of expect as standard. Everywhere you go in the railway, there's stuff that's non-standard. So what I would say is, what you would do then is, if I came along as a signalling engineer and somebody said to me, this is the layout we've got and this is the way our signals are set up, what do you think? I would say, do you know what, that's absolutely fine. As long as you've got an instruction, something in your rules that say, so you get all sorts of local instructions. So you get an instruction to drivers, instructions to signallers that if you're going to be, this is the signal that you use, and for the drivers to expect that, and that would kind of become part of route knowledge, if you like. It's not the way I would do it. Is if I was starting off from scratch, I would just have that destination to be to the left. But if that's the way it is just now, you could definitely keep that the way it is and say, well, there's a special note for drivers and signalmen that that number 2 signal, that shunt below number 1, this one, it does mean you're taking a left. And again, looking at this real layout, you could say, well, it's done for the reasons of the fitting the gantry in there. We decided we couldn't fit that extra signal on the left, or it was confusing for some reason, maybe because those tunnels are behind it and the background of the signals. So there's no hard and fast reason why you can't have that signal 2 is to route B. But likewise, you could have another signal in here. Now you could add a signal on into that gap for B, and the argument could be that signal 2 is for an instance where you want to come out of, again, what I'm calling platform 3 here, and go up to C and turn back. So that signal 2 is used for when you want the driver to know they have to go up that C route and turn back. If I was being an awful stickler, which I'm not, because it's a great gantry, I love it, the layout looks great, you would want your driver to get their signal, whether they're going to B route, C route or D route, before they get to the facing points which are going to decide that. So again, your gantry ideally, or those signals ideally, would be down at these points. Well, actually, from a signalling engineer, I would say ideally those points would be out of the station so that your train gets to stand the full length of the station. But again, I would just say, well, there's local rules apply in my signal box which say when you bring this train in, you have to platform 3 from this end, you have to have decided which route they're going, because you have to, if your train's going to stop over the points, you have to have already set whether you're going to, or you have to have decided whether you're going to B or C or D, because you can't move the points under the train. I know you can in double O gauge, but obviously in full size railway, you can't move the points under the train. I suppose actually, I guess looking at this, you must find this tricky. If these are moved by hand, you must find it difficult to get your finger in there to change these points. So yeah, I guess the same thing applies. You have to decide before that train comes in which route you're going to take. If I go to 4 and 5, again, I've got a little note at the side. What did I say? I'm not just doing this off the top of my head, by the way. I'm not that good. Platform 4. Yep, so for signal 4, that's lovely. If you've come into what I'm calling platform 4 and you want to go back up the main line to destination D into the tunnel, your signal 4, I would say, let's see, you can see it, goes from platform 4 to destination D, and that's perfect, spot on. Signal 5, I'm a little bit more fussy about that. I feel like I have watched the trains moving on your later, and I know that normally, again, we drive our trains in the way we drive our cars, so normally you want trains to come down this direction. You can't quite see that, let me see. To come in this direction on that line, from the D line, in that direction on C. But I know that at the other end of this, at the other end of the tunnel, you've got quite a lot more layout again. So in standard-ish practice, I would say you possibly wouldn't even have a signal going back in that direction from this. I feel like this is so if trains come into platform 4 here and a train's sitting, I feel like this loop would kind of only ever be used to bring a train from D into pass a train stopped in the station. Maybe you've had an express, or you've got one of your freights wants to come and pass here without using the station. I feel like that's what that would do. So I don't feel like there would be a signal, that 5 signal, to take you from the loop back up the main line. But then you do have a lot of layout on the other side of this tunnel. So for your layout, yeah, I feel like that's kind of, yeah, you could want to have a route from the loop back up to 5, because 5 is a smaller. So I would probably have made 5 a full size signal if I was being a stickler. But yeah, there's no reason why it can't be a shunt. Again, if something's come down this direction, is it going to have to? It could be that it's in the loop out of the way, and then it's a shunt move back up the D destination to come back into 4 to get unloaded. Because the loop line's just really, I would just be using the loop line to keep things out of the way while 4 is busy. So yeah, signal 5 for me would be a shunt back up D to say, okay, we've now cleared platform 4, and whatever that train was that went into the loop can now shunt back up D and come into the station to be dealt with, whether it's the D train passengers or it's unloading whatever it happens to be carrying, or doing some other sort of move at the other end of the station that we can't see here. So there you go, that's my somewhat schwonky analysis of that gantry. But I think the important thing is that it looks really good. It looks great. Most people won't go into the kind of depth that I'm looking at it. Again, just because it is quite a complicated gantry, I was like, oh, well, I wonder where all these routes go. But if I just do signal 5, platform 4, back up the D line, and that's a shunt, I would say, it's not exactly as I would expect to find it, but there's definitely all these routes here that you can say, well, that's it's my railway and these are the moves I like to make. Sometimes I like to shunt things from platform 4 back up the D line and back in to platform 4, or back up the he's made a mistake, what a fool, sorry, that should say back up the loop line and back into platform 4, if that's what you want to do. And listen, it's your railway and it looks great, so great job, cheers.